What happens when honor steps into the ring with brutality? In Street Fighter, two boxers stand out, not just for their fists, but for who they are outside the ring. On one side, Dudley, a refined gentleman with a rose in his hand and elegance in his step. On the other, Balrog, a savage brawler whose fists are fueled by greed and rage. Both pugilists, but that's where the similarities end. While Dudley fights to uphold his family's legacy with grace and dignity, Balrog smashes through opponents for money and power. This is a story of discipline versus destruction, a tale of what happens when two boxers from opposite worlds inevitably collide. Let's explore the lives of Dudley and Balrog and uncover why their philosophies make them two of the most compelling and conflicting characters in Street Fighter history. Dudley is the embodiment of class, honor, and discipline. Hailing from England, he's not your average fighter. Born into a wealthy family, Dudley lived a privileged life, until everything changed. His father, a former athlete turned businessman, lost their fortune. The loss prompted Dudley, who had always wanted to be a fighter, to step into the ring, taking up boxing with the same elegance and poise his family once carried with their name. Due in part to his upbringing, Dudley's not just a fighter, but also a gentleman. He is unfailingly polite, being above trash-talking and refusing to gloat. His obsession isn't with fame or fortune, but with family and legacy. Above all, he wants to recover his father's cherished possessions, especially his beloved Jaguar. This isn't just a car for him, but a symbol of dignity, of identity, and of everything Dudley's fighting to reclaim. In the ring, Dudley's style is as graceful as it is devastating. He fights with precision, mixing tight footwork, sharp counters, and flowing combos. He's all about elegant aggression. His command dashes, weaving hooks, and rising uppercuts create a rhythm that feels more like a dance than a brawl. Dudley is a character built for players who value timing and finesse. You're not bulldozing your opponent, you're outclassing them. His story moments reflect this refined character. In Street Fighter III Second Impact, he earns the respect of Gil, the leader of a mysterious society, and now owner of Dudley's father's car. Canonically, Dudley does not win the tournament. However, Gil is impressed enough by the pugilist's performance that he returns the Jaguar to him, a poetic end to his long pursuit of honor. And by the end of Third Strike, he becomes more than a respected boxer, receiving an invite by the British royal family for an exhibition match, a true sign of his family's restored prestige. Dudley's journey is one of quiet resilience, proving that power doesn't have to come at the cost of dignity. If Dudley is discipline, Balrog is destruction. Born in a ghetto, Balrog's rise to fame was meteoric, but far from clean. He was a powerhouse in the boxing world, known for his brute strength and knockouts. But that fame didn't last. Balrog was banned from professional boxing for excessive violence, breaking rules, opponents' faces, and any code of honor the sport had left. But that didn't bother him. If anything, it freed him. Indifferent when it came to glory and tradition, Balrog only fought for money, and that's how he landed in the ranks of Shadaloo, serving as one of M. Bison's top enforcers. In this world of criminal enterprise and shadowy warfare, Balrog's raw power became a weapon, unleashed without restraint or conscience. Balrog's personality is as mean as his punches. He's arrogant, short-tempered, and cruel. He doesn't train to improve, he trains to destroy. Where Dudley respects the ring, Balrog spits on it. He mocks his opponents, laughs at their pain, and is never satisfied unless someone's on the floor, twitching. His fighting style is all aggression. Balrog thrives on closing distance and landing explosive punches. Every one of his moves is designed to bulldoze through his opponent's defenses. He's not here to play fair, he's here to get paid. His storylines are drenched in greed. In Street Fighter II, he's one of Bison's top dogs, but loyalty means nothing to him, and once Shadaloo starts to crumble, Balrog doesn't help. For him, it's just another opportunity. In Street Fighter IV, he tries to steal the secrets of SIN, Shadaloo's tech division. He's not thinking long-term, he just wants the cash now. And by the time of Street Fighter V rolls around, he's still working for Shadaloo, but now has taken on a more paternal role, teaching Ed, whom he saved from a Shadaloo base. But again, he's not committed to any cause. He's looking for the biggest payday, and he'll break every rib in the room to get it. Where Dudley is about legacy, Balrog is about leverage. He's the dark mirror of everything a boxer could be, unfiltered power with no moral compass. Dudley sees boxing as a noble craft, a discipline where one hones their body and spirit. Every punch he throws is backed by years of training and a code of ethics rooted in honor and respect. To Dudley, the ring is a sacred place, somewhere to prove one's worth without compromising character. Balrog, on the other hand, fights with unrelenting brutality. Boxing was never an art to him, it was a way out, a tool for breaking jaws and cashing checks. He doesn't care about technique or tradition, he cares about power, domination, and the next payday. In victory he mocks, in defeat he sieves. Sportsmanship isn't in his vocabulary. Their motivations are just as distinct. Dudley fights to restore his father's legacy, while Balrog fights for greed and survival. Dudley compliments his defeated opponents, Balrog threatens to crush their skulls. The contrast couldn't be sharper. In terms of gameplay, Dudley is a technical, stylish character. He relies on tight execution, elegant combos, and skillful dodging. Balrog, on the other hand, is raw pressure, dash punches, high stun damage, and overwhelming momentum. Where Dudley plays chess, Balrog plays demolition. Yet, hidden beneath Balrog's violent exterior is one of the few surprising complexities in his character, his relationship with Ed. In Street Fighter IV, Balrog discovers Ed as a young clone experiment inside a SIN laboratory. For reasons he may not fully understand, he chooses not to abandon him, in some hope that the boy may prove useful to him. He takes him under his wing and begins to train him, becoming like a father to him in many ways. This bond hints at a sliver of humanity buried deep within Balrog. While his actions are still largely selfish, his protection of Ed suggests that he's capable of loyalty, or at least attachment. Taking on the role of father figure to Ed, the pair later start planning to break away from Shadowloo, and work for anyone who would be in need of their talents. Ed, however, has his own path to walk, which leads to an uncharacteristic display of sadness from the aggressive pugilist. While still mainly interested in money and power, Ed brings something out of Balrog, a purpose beyond profit. Balrog, perhaps unknowingly, is beginning to carve out a legacy of his own, not just the kind he ever planned for. Dudley and Balrog highlight a difference in ideologies. It's elegance and pride versus greed and brutality. This kind of contrast has deep roots in real-world boxing history. We've seen countless rivalries where two fighters embodied completely different philosophies. The calm tactician versus the showboating knockout artist. The champion of the people versus the unapologetic villain. In Street Fighter, these kinds of ideological clashes define the series. Ryu's discipline versus Akuma's obsession, and Chun-Li's justice versus Juri's chaos are some examples. And here, with Dudley and Balrog, we get boxing's version of that eternal struggle. It's not just about who wins a fight, it's about what kind of fighter deserves to win. Dudley represents the idea that skill, honor, and self-discipline are what make a true warrior. Balrog, however, tears that idea down, arguing through his fists that power is all that matters, and that rules are for the weak. And yet the beauty of Street Fighter lies in how these oppositions are never simple. Balrog may be a brute, but he's also a product of a corrupt system that used him and threw him away. Dudley may be noble, but he comes from privilege, a position Balrog never had. That's why a true rivalry between them would be so compelling. Not just because of their fighting styles, but because of what they say about the world around them. About what it means to be strong. About whether you rise with grace, or claw your way up by any means necessary. If Capcom ever chooses to develop this rivalry, it would become one of the most thematically rich in the entire franchise. A story not just about boxing, but about class, character, and the cost of power. Dudley and Balrog may both wear boxing gloves, but they stand in different worlds. One is a symbol of grace under pressure, a man who fights not just to win, but to preserve something greater than himself. And the other is a blunt instrument, shaped by hardship and driven by self-interest. Together they reflect two extremes of the same sport, both in its nobility and its savagery. Their paths have yet to truly cross in any meaningful way in the Street Fighter lore, But maybe that's what makes the idea so powerful. We can imagine it. A match where honor squares off against fury, where one man fights for legacy, and the other for whatever he can get by force. As Street Fighter continues to evolve, a deeper exploration of this rivalry could add emotional weight and philosophical depth to the roster. It would be more than just a match of skill. It would raise the question of what kind of fighter should stand victorious in the end. So we leave you with this. In a battle between Dudley's refined elegance and Balrog's raw violence, who do you side with? Do you back the gentleman's code or the brawler's might? If you enjoyed this character study of Street Fighter's most popular pugilists, give it a like, share it with a fellow Street Fighter fan, and don't forget to subscribe for more character breakdowns and lore matchups. As always, be excellent to yourselves and one another, and I'll see you soon.